Many teachers today are facing a worryingly growing epidemic: stress. According to a report by the National Foundation for Educational Research, more teachers feel tense or worried about their job than others in similar professions. 1 in 5 teachers say they feel strained because of their job most, if not all, of the time. I decided to investigate the management of workloads and stress within the teaching profession, due to statistics that indicate 1 out of 5 teachers expect to leave the profession due to workload pressures.
So I was asked to start setting up some teaching materials and to actually teach a course for a day-long period. And I absolutely ate it up. It was like, if I could do this all the time, this is what I wanted to do.
A friend of mine who works in drama said, "There's no music department here at the college. Do you fancy creating one?"
When I received a proposal from my MATC supervisor just to be her teaching assistant, it was really an honorable offer. It was kind of luck because I hadn't even the slightest idea what I'm going to do.
I've been a head teacher for 3 years and a half now. In the past, I was a teacher and I taught English and French. I wanted to make a change in my life, but also not to waste all this experience I had acquired in the past as a teacher.
Academic job is not only teaching. In our case, it's also providing some thesis, writing some research article, conducting research itself.
Now lecturers have been added quite a lot more administration around the job role, which does add extra time onto our working day.
That's really demanding, and you are the researcher every moment in your life.
As a head teacher, I'm afraid it's much harder because you do not really have someone who can replace you. So sometimes you have to be there, no matter if it's summer, no matter what time it is, and you have to work long hours.
More than 80% of teachers responding to a poll by the National Education Union say they were considering other careers because of the long hours that classroom teachers are now obliged to work. Even though their hours average out around the year due to school holidays, teachers are expected to work more intensively on the fewer weeks that they get. Sometimes these hours can go beyond what they are contracted, limiting personal time with family and friends. In an anonymous survey for teachers that we ran, one respondent said, "There is no time for me, just time for management to add to my workload and increase their expectations of what I can achieve with limited resources and time."
What with interviews and meetings, etc., we do end up coming in early, staying late. So those hours are also part of the addition beyond your working hours. It's part of the job. I don't have a problem with that side of it. I do have a problem when it eats into your weekends, I guess, because I think that should be a little bit sacrosanct if you can make that happen. Family and friends have not liked it and have stressed concern.
I used to take a lot of work home, but you very quickly realise it's a given to reach that standard, and then other things start to take their toll. But it's taken me until only about 3 years ago, so 15 years into the job, it's taken me that long to learn how to not take work home anymore.
It's kind of normal. It's not this it's so nice from my wife that she doesn't mind. Yeah, no, it's not. That's the way we proceed from the very beginning of our marriage. So,
but my husband is not very happy, but he understands. I've always supported him in his job, and he's doing the same with me now.
In our survey, we asked whether their stress comes from students, the school system, or both. The number of students coming into teaching institutions, especially secondary schools, is constantly rising. Interestingly, our respondents said their stress came from either both causes, mostly the school system, or neither. When teachers were asked whether they received enough support from the school system, 33% said no, while another 33% said sometimes.
My school, the school I run has 1,140 students. So, you don't only have the administrative work, you also have the contacts with the families, with the teachers, with the other staff in the school, which is quite a lot.
Teams in the teaching profession do tend to be commonly more caring. So there is an idea that teams try to work together, that if someone is really struggling, then help is offered within the team.
So we've got a team of four of us, and we're all equally skilled with slightly different specialisms. There have been times in the past where we had weaker team members, and when you're carrying somebody else, it can be incredibly stressful.
There's this really thin line between private contacts and professional contacts. The university and teaching is really, the line is even thinner.
It's no surprise that stress begins to set in when teachers feel like they do not get enough support. Some also feel like they are not trusted enough with work, and a named respondent to the National Education Union survey said, "We are not trusted to get on and do our job. We are accountable at every level, which creates more stress and paperwork. We are exhausted."
Work-life balance if you're commonly doing the 25 hours contact time, you cannot fit everything in. It's an impossibility.
When teachers put too much pressure on you to solve their problems, when families ask to see you and to solve their problems as well.
The feeling that it is obvious and that this is a part of being academic, it makes the situation completely bearable.
But what I try to do is to establish a network of relationships, and I have figured out some roles and luckily found even the right people to fit in. So for example, I had psychologists and even asked the teachers to be more willing to understand what's behind children's behaviour.
Luckily, in our survey, we found that most teachers find time to relieve their stress, even if it is only an hour or less of their day. Some do activities such as exercising, while some prefer laid-back activities like reading and creating art pieces. A lot of teachers, or previous teachers, feel better when they talk to friends or colleagues, as well as spending time with family. Whether they find it beyond them for the time being or not, many teachers believe in a dream solution for their mental well-being and how it is dealt with.
Talking, really, around the problems, not hiding them. We tend to hide these things a lot. I know I have colleagues that don't want to talk about the negatives. You know, they really don't. They want to hide away from them. If there's not a greater awareness of the effects of the workload that are being given to lecturers commonly in the workplace nowadays, then there are going to be more people going off ill, more stress is going to be created, therefore more people are going to be going off ill again. And
what I find most important to look for is to try to find some space for myself, the mental space after all. To avoid to stay at school all the time and to try to be able to find the right distance from me and the people around me.
I think it's about trust, and I could probably speak on behalf of most industries. Most industries have become more and more micromanaged, and I think we could learn a lot from models that don't rely on hierarchy. There are cuts being made in public services everywhere, so as those cuts happen more and more and more, we end up with an increasing job load.
Management have a role to play in feeding back the information of what they see happening to their staff. And so I think dialogue is the biggest, for me, prevalent way that we can start to move forward. And then many minds thinking about how we can come up with some plans would probably help solve some of the issue.
If we communicate a bit more and a bit better, we'll be able to create a better place where to work and possibly be happy with our jobs.
If you or anybody you know is struggling with mental health issues, there are organisations you can contact with trained professionals that will help you with the daily issues you face.